Stas 23 here, and today we have my 10 most comfortable knives in my collection that are $100 and over. I will be doing a budget version of this as well in a few days. And this was one of the questions that one of y'all asked me for the giveaway. It's coming from Mr. Heavyweight Sound. Thank you, brother. I appreciate this. And he wanted me to do the most comfortable knives for somebody like myself with beat up, messed up hands, you know, some mild neuropathy in my hands and some weird things that go on with my hands since my accident. So whenever a knife is comfortable, it really stands out. These are all comfortable knives and that could have definitely been on this list, but these two are super hard to get. This is the Custom Knife Factory Evo 3, I think. And this is the Three Rivers Manufacturing Shadow. They're, you know, these are easier to get than this, but they're still very hard to get. And this one right here, the GiantMouse Ace Nazca, is a very comfortable one, but there was two that came from the same company that beat this one out. And this one right here is the Hogue Ritter RSK full size, and it would have definitely made the list as well, except for somebody with neuropathy or problems with texture sometimes. This one right here is full of these rougher textures that sometimes bother my hands rather bad. So let's get into the top 10. If you could, down in the comments, let me know what your most comfortable knives are. I will definitely be reading these because I'm always trying to find more comfortable knives and it'll help others out as well. So just give you an idea real quick. The size of my palm from here to here is 3.9 inches. And from the tip of my middle finger to down here is 7 3/4 inch. Just so you have an idea if you're trying to wonder, you know, does your hand size match mine? Because hand size matters a lot of the time. But let's get started. First up, we have the GiantMouse Ace Grand. This thing is so comfortable. It's wide, it's thick, you got nice contouring here. They did a great job of softening the edges, so whenever you're squeezing, you're not, you know, being bit by, you know, where they terminated the contour. Like some places do that. They'll give you a nice contour and then you'll have a hard edge right here. So whenever you're squeezing, it's still uncomfortable. This one fills out the hand nicely. It's got the wire pocket clip that's nice and softened and round as well. So you shouldn't feel that in your hand, especially if you have a medium-sized hand like myself. Very comfortable knife. This is a hard user. This is a beefy knife, but it's also a really good knife. And this thing has broken in so nicely. I was using this the other day, and man, I noticed, look how it's so smooth. Comes out nice and fast. It's got a beautiful clip point, stonewash blade, and this one's in LMAX steel. It's number 2, the Ferrum Forge Archbishop 3.0. This is an excellent knife all around. You got a beautiful drop point, and just look at this. Look at these handles. This is what I call perfection right here. You got a beautifully contoured titanium scales. And then if you see what I'm talking about, see how they melted the edges right here? They really did extra work on these scales so they could be the most comfortable in the hand. It's a great knife all around. Comfortable in any grip that I grab it with. Even whenever that pocket clip is in the hand, it stays out of my palm to where it's nice and comfortable. Choking up's very comfortable. This is just a beautiful one. And then even though there's no texture on here, you have a nice guard with that flipper tab if you had to do any kind of thrusting motion type cuts. So awesome knife. Perfectly done flipper tab. Love it. All right, number 3, we have the Kansept Fenrir. Another one that has kind of surprised me overall because it's just a out there looking knife. You have a reverse style bolster. That's cool looking. And this blade is wicked. But man, are these scales even nicer in hand. Nice contouring. Every knife on here, I'm just going to tell you now, has contoured scales because that's a recipe for a very comfortable handle. That and no crazy choils or anything. This one fits my hand perfect, so that's why it's so comfortable. The pocket clip is even contoured. Yeah, they did a really good job of making these really good. Now, I can only speak for the micarta version. I don't know how the G10 ones feel in hand, but yeah. I will have links to all the knives that are available down in the description if you want to pick one of them up. I'd appreciate it if you use my links, but if you don't want to, that's fine as well. Number 4, we have the Spyderco Shaman, and it doesn't have to be this micarta version. I own the G10 version, and Spyderco is known for making knives first that are comfortable, then worrying about everything else. And boy, did they do a good job, because you got some nice thickness and some nice width. And even though it does have this, area that I'm not usually fond of, it works out perfect, because that thicker portion right there allows these two fingers to really get a sturdy grip on it. And when you choke up, it's super comfortable. Yeah, it's a very comfortable, harder use style knife. It's got the compression lock, and I think the regular ones come in S30V, I think. Spyderco does an excellent job with their heat treat, no matter what steel it is. We got another one coming from Spyderco, and that is number 5, the Spyderco Kapara. And once again, don't worry about the micarta scales, even though you could buy micarta scales for both of these knives on the secondary market. But with the carbon fiber scales that come on there, they're just as comfortable, because they're nice and contoured. These are from Rip's Garage Tech. Man, this is a comfortable knife, and it has a lot to do with how this humps up right here. Anytime I see that, I know more than likely it's going to be comfortable in the hand, because it just follows the natural curvature of your hand. And when you're really squeezing down, it makes it comfortable, and especially pushing into stuff. Choking up's comfortable on this knife with micarta, and even with the carbon fiber, because they do such a good job of the contouring. Excellent, excellent knife. If you've never owned a Spyderco Kapara, super slicey, full flat ground blade, S30V steel. Yeah. Compression lock. This one kind of surprised me when I first picked it up, and this is the Trivisa Lynx, and this is the more premium version with, I think it's S35, yeah, S35 VN steel, blind screwed mill titanium pot clip that they did a nice contour on it. And this one just fills out the hand so nicely. G10 scales, and the texture is not too aggressive. Now, this one will lock you into those two areas, but I still have, look, if I'm choked up, I still have a little bit of room, so it could probably fit your large hands just fine. But it's nice, thick, contoured scales, liner lock, beautiful action on this knife. I really like this knife a lot. That is the Trivisa Lynx. Next up, we have a Benchmade, and that is the Benchmade Freek. And don't mind mine. Mine has been reground to be a super slicer. But we're talking about the handle scales. Now, it has some texture, but nothing that is aggressive, and they knocked off all the peaks to those scales, and they're just thick in the hand, and it's a pretty neutral handle, and that fills out the hand nicely. The flat clip lays fine in my hands, and this is definitely one that I could use for a while. That is a Benchmade Freek. Next up, we have one coming from QSP, and that is the QSP Pelican. This one I've been having for a long time. You got a nice full-size blade. It's not a 4-inch blade. I think it's like a 3.75 or something like that. And this one has thicker micarta scales. The contoured micarta is usually my go-to when I'm looking for something comfortable, because it's a softer material in hand. G10 has that hard plastic feel almost, depending on how it's done. And micarta just feels so much better. This handle kind of surprised me because of the way it's shaped, but the way that comes out, my fingers straddle that, and it's like a bulbous end to hold on to give me a better grip. The thicker scales feel nice in hand, and watch how smooth this knife is. That right there is ceramic bearings with no lube. I wanted to see how it would react with no lube in it, and that's no lube. It wasn't that smooth before, so I might have to try that more often. That is the QSP Pelican. Oh, and the blade steel on this one is S35 VN. Number 9, we have another GiantMouse Ace knife, and this is the GiantMouse Ace Jutland. Probably one of my favorite GiantMouse Ace knives to date. These scales are just, they use the Italian micarta is always so nice. It has good texture to it. It almost feels like they sandblast the micarta to give you more texture, more grip. I don't know if that's what they do or it's just a different type of canvas, but love it. Excellent action, super comfortable, and it's a narrower handle, but the contouring is perfect, and there's nothing that's really stabbing my hands or anything while I'm using it. And then you have that wire pocket clip once again. That thumb hole works perfect. Nice full size clip point blade that is good. Last up we have the Benchmade Griptilian. This is the mini grip, but the full size is just as comfortable. And I'm talking about with the just plastic scales. Those whatever they're calling their plastic scales fill out the hand very nicely, and the pocket clip stays low, so it's not going to dig into you. Now, they do have some texture in the middle of the Griptilian scales. So if any texture is not good for you, then you might want to add aftermarket scales to it if you do get one. That's kind of what I did. It wasn't, terrible or anything whenever I was using my when I was using this one with the regular scales on it, but I found that it was much nicer with the micarta for me, so I made that change. But it's still super comfortable with the plastic ones, like I said. So there you go. That is my 10 most comfortable knives in hand in my collection. I can't wait to read the comments to see what knives y'all have on this list. Like I said earlier, if you're more into the budget arena, I will have a under $100 category with some, cheap knives in there that I find to be very comfortable. Just stay tuned. That's going to be in the next couple of days. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. I hope everybody's having an absolute amazing day. I will see y'all on the next one.